The sign is gone now. The town looks normal. But for years, if you were black, this place had one rule: be gone by sunset, or don't expect to leave at all. It didn't look dangerous. That was the point. Because danger you can see, you can prepare for. This, you couldn't. Main Street stretched quiet under the fading light, a diner glowing warm behind glass windows. Neon humming soft and steady. Inside, coffee cups clinked. Someone laughed too loud at something not that funny. Next door, a barber shop. Door half open, voices drifting out. The low buzz of clippers. The rhythm of a place that had been the same for years. Kids rode their bikes in slow circles near the curb. A man locked up his hardware store. A woman pulled groceries from the trunk of her car. Everything about it felt ordinary. Safe. But if you stood there long enough, really looked, you'd notice it. What wasn't there? No black families, no black workers, no black children running through those streets. Not one face out of place, not one presence that didn't belong. And nobody said anything, because nobody had to. In towns like this, the rule didn't live on paper, it lived in people. In the way conversations dropped half a tone, when someone unfamiliar walked in. In the way eyes followed you, not aggressively, just enough to let you know you've been seen. In the way service slowed down, in the way smiles didn't quite reach the eyes, in the way silence stretched just a little too long. And if you stayed, if you ignored it, the signals got louder. A second glance, a third, a door closing earlier than usual, a voice, low and careful, you passing through. It wasn't a question, it was a clock. By the 1940s and 50s, this wasn't unusual, it was a system. Thousands of towns across America, not just deep in the South, but in the Midwest, the North, places people still think of as quiet, neutral, untouched. Places that told a different story after dark. They had a name for them, sundown towns, and the rule was simple. You could pass through, you could spend money, you could even smile and be smiled at. But when the sun started to fall, everything changed, because sunset wasn't just the end of the day, it was a deadline. Some towns made it obvious, wooden signs nailed at the edge of the road, black paint on pale boards, words you didn't have to read twice. Some used sound, a siren at dusk, long, hollow, unmistakable, like an air raid warning, like something was about to happen. And everyone knew what it meant, time's up. But the most dangerous towns, the ones people remembered, didn't need signs, didn't need sirens.
'Cause by then, the reputation arrived before you did. You heard about it at the last gas station, in a voice that dropped just low enough. You saw it in the way someone hesitated, before answering your question. You felt it, in the way the road suddenly seemed longer than it should be. And once you knew, you couldn't unknow it. You were on a clock. Every mile became a calculation. Every stop, a risk. Every town ahead, a question you didn't want to answer too late. Because in places like this, it wasn't just about leaving. It was about leaving in time. And if you didn't, if you misjudged the light, if you trusted the wrong street, if you stayed just a little too long, the town would remind you why the rule existed in the first place.
His name was Daniel Carter. 27 years old, recently discharged, still carrying the posture of a soldier, back straight, eyes forward, hands steady even when everything else wasn't. He had spent the last 3 years overseas, fighting for a country that now felt unfamiliar. The uniform was gone, but the habits stayed, checking mirrors, reading movement, measuring distance without thinking.
Staying alive. That night, he was driving alone. A two-lane road cutting through farmland. Miles of nothing but dark fields and telephone poles. The kind of road that doesn't feel dangerous, until it does. His gas gauge dipped lower than he liked. Not empty. Not yet. But close enough to start doing the math. 10 miles to the next town. Maybe 12. Hard to tell out here. He'd make it. He always did. Up ahead, lights. A town, small, quiet. Exactly what he needed. Gas. Food. 5 minutes off the road. Easy. He eased off the accelerator slightly, eyes scanning. Then he saw it. Not a big sign, not bright. Just a piece of wood near the edge of the road. Worn, crooked, easy to miss, if you weren't looking for it. But Daniel always looked. He didn't slow down, didn't turn his head, didn't react. But he saw it. And that was enough. His grip on the wheel tightened, just slightly, not panic, not fear. Recognition. He'd seen towns like this before. Heard about them, from other men, on trains. In barracks. In low conversations that stopped when officers walked in. Places where the rules weren't written in law, but enforced all the same. The sun was lower now, hanging just above the horizon. He checked the gauge again, lower than before, of course it was. The town was closer now. Close enough to see the gas station. One pump lit under a flickering bulb. A diner beside it. A few cars parked out front. Normal. Too normal. That's when he saw the second thing. A police car. Parked across the street. Engine off, lights off. But not empty. The driver was inside. Watching. Not moving, not signaling. Just, there. Daniel drove past the entrance. Didn't turn, didn't slow. His eyes stayed forward, like he hadn't noticed anything at all. In the mirror, the police car came to life. Headlights on, engine turning over. Pulling out. Falling in behind him. No siren, no lights, no rush. Just close enough. That's when Daniel understood, this wasn't about a traffic stop. This wasn't about speed, or a broken taillight. This was about time. And whether he understood, what time it was. The sky dimmed another shade. Slipping lower, he glanced at the horizon, then back to the road. Not yet. Behind him, the car stayed steady, matching his speed, holding the distance, not forcing him to stop, not letting him relax. Waiting. Waiting to see if he would make the mistake of staying.
The needle dropped again. Lower now, too low to ignore.
Daniel didn't look at it for long. He didn't need to. He could feel it. Time was running out. The road stretched ahead, empty, no lights, no buildings, no second chance. Behind him, the car was still there, same distance, same silence, still watching. He ran the numbers again, distance, speed, fuel. If he kept going, he might make it. Might. If he didn't, if the tank ran dry out here, there would be nowhere to go, no doors to knock on. No help coming down that road, not for him. The town was still behind him. Close enough to turn back, close enough to solve everything, in 5 minutes. Gas, light, people, safety. Or at least, something that looked like it. His fingers tightened on the wheel. He could feel the pull, not just the gas station, but the logic of it. You need fuel. You need to stop. But another voice, quieter, older, harder to ignore, cut through that thought. Not here. The sky shifted again, orange fading into something darker. The line between day and night, getting thinner by the second. Daniel checked the mirror,
the car behind him had moved closer. Not aggressive, not obvious, just enough to close the space. Just enough to remind him. He exhaled slowly, made his decision. The next road appeared ahead, barely more than a cut in the dirt. No sign, no lights, easy to miss. He turned. Gravel cracked under the tires, the car jolted slightly as it left the pavement. Behind him, headlights followed, no hesitation, no confusion. They knew this road. The world changed instantly, no more streetlights, no more town glow, just darkness pressing in from both sides. Fields, trees, nothing else. The engine sounded louder out here, every vibration clearer, every second heavier. The needle dipped again, almost empty. Daniel leaned forward slightly, eyes locked ahead. Searching, anything, a house, a barn, a light, nothing. Behind him, the headlights stayed fixed, closer now, too close. And then, another set of lights, ahead, far in the distance. Finally, hope, just enough to hurt. He pressed the gas, just a little more, careful not to waste what he didn't have. The lights ahead grew clearer. Not a town, not a station, a house. One light on, porch barely visible, isolated. Behind him, the car accelerated, no more pretending. Daniel's jaw tightened. Because now, it wasn't about fuel anymore.
It was about reaching that house, before the sun disappeared completely. Before the road stopped being just a road. The house looked closer than it was. Out here, distance lies. Daniel kept his speed steady, not too fast, not too slow, no sudden moves. Behind him, the car closed in, headlights filling his rear-view mirror now, bright enough to wash out everything else. No more space, no more pretending. The porch light ahead flickered once, then steadied. A figure moved inside. Someone was home. Daniel's mind moved fast, too fast. Knock on the door. Ask for help. Get gas. Stay until morning. Survive the night. It sounded simple. It wasn't. Because he didn't know this house. Didn't know who lived there. Didn't know if knocking would help, or make things worse. The sun dipped lower. Half gone now, the sky losing color fast. He didn't have time to think it through. Behind him, the car surged forward. Then, lights flashed. Not sirens. Not a full stop. Just a quick burst. A signal. Daniel's grip tightened. Message received. He slowed, not by much, just enough. The car behind him pulled alongside. Close enough now to see the driver. White, middle-aged, hat low over his eyes. Window down, arm resting on the door. Casual, too casual. For a moment, they drove side by side. No words, just the sound of two engines, and the last light of day fading between them. Then the man turned his head, looked directly at Daniel. Not angry, not shouting, certain. He jerked his chin, back toward the road. A small movement, almost polite, but the meaning was clear. Keep going. Daniel didn't answer, didn't nod, didn't react. He just kept his eyes forward, hands steady. The house was close now, so close he could see the porch steps, the door, the light behind it, a way out, maybe. The other car didn't slow, didn't leave. It stayed right beside him, holding him there, not stopping him, not letting him stop. The sun slipped lower, just a thin edge now, barely holding on to the horizon. Seconds, that's all that was left. Daniel made his choice. His foot pressed down, just enough, and he surged forward, past the house, past the light, past the only door in miles. Behind him, the other car followed instantly. Because now, there was no confusion left, no misunderstanding. This wasn't about where he was going. It was about making sure he didn't stop here.
The house disappeared in his rear-view mirror. The light gone. The road stretched forward again, dark now, endless. Behind him, the headlights stayed, still there. Daniel didn't look back anymore. He didn't need to. He understood the rule now, not the words, the feeling. Keep moving, don't stop, don't give them a reason. Don't let the sun catch you here. The last line of light vanished from the horizon. Night, complete. The car behind him stayed close for another mile, then two. Long enough to be sure, long enough to send the message. And then, just as quietly as it appeared, it slowed. Turned off, disappeared back into the dark road behind. Daniel kept driving, hands locked on the wheel, eyes forward. He didn't slow down, didn't relax, didn't breathe any easier. Because out here, darkness didn't mean safety. It meant you made it out, this time. The engine sputtered once, then again. The needle hid empty. He coasted the last stretch, rolling into a lonely gas station on the side of a state highway. One pump, one dim light, no town, no watchers. He stopped, sat there for a moment. Hands still on the wheel. Then slowly, he exhaled. Alive. What happened to Daniel wasn't unusual. That's the truth most people never hear. This wasn't one road, one town, one night. It was thousands, across America. Places where you could pass through, but never belong. Places where daylight meant permission, and sunset meant warning. Places that didn't need laws, because everyone already knew the rules. They called them sundown towns. And at one point, there were thousands of them. Not hidden, not rare. Everywhere. And here's the part that stays with you. Most of those signs are gone now. The wood rotted, the paint faded, the nails rusted out of the ground. But the towns never really changed. The absence stayed, the silence stayed, the feeling stayed. So if you grew up in a place where everyone looked the same, it's worth asking why. Not to blame, not to feel guilty, but to understand what was built before you ever got there. Because the first step to changing something like this is knowing it was never an accident. The signs are gone, but the story is still here. And now, so are you.